Hey, everybody. Guess what? This is the Nevin and Fred podcast, but we're like in video, like you can see us and not just have to listen to us. Um, and the question before you all is, should we do this? Because apparently, people say the podcast these days, it's not just for audio only anymore. We need the video too. We'll put it up on YouTube. So at a high level, let me just tell you what we just finished recording. We were talking about some brand new regulations from the IRS and Treasury about the some final regulations on the catch-up contributions. We also talked about some impact of personalization as it applies to retirement plans and when it comes to giving advice and asset allocation, things like that. So some pretty cool stuff. Right, Fred? Did I miss anything? It's that kind of a thing?
I think so. And I think, not to steal your thunder, Nevin, but the big message from the regulations that the IRS regulations that just came out on the Roth treatment of catch-up contributions for folks that make over 145,000 a year is it's really going to be here on January 1. Folks were hoping for a delay, but that hope is now out of luck. The regulations are out. The effective date's January 1.
Yep, exactly right. And you're right. I think people, because we've been waiting from January for this, and I think people thought, well, it's getting kind of late into the year. So if it's not here yet, maybe they're going to decide to give us, because they did before, right? The IRS basically said, we're not going to enforce this for a couple of years.
Yeah,
so y'all
that's
go
how we
figure it
got
out.
here. Yeah.
So,
So
anyway, it's real.
I think there are some issues now, and I would divide folks into two categories: those who already have Roth accounts in their plans and those who do not. For the moment, just focusing on the folks who do have Roth accounts in their plan, they've got a whole lot of work to get done between September and December 31 in terms of their 50 and older employees who can make catch-up contributions, but who earn over 145,000 in 2025. So for those folks, they're labeled higher paid now. They're going to have to do Roth in 2026 for catch-up contributions. I mean, they got to coordinate with a record keeper and make sure the record keeper has capacity and is prepared to do it. Coordinate with their payroll provider, make sure their payroll provider has the capacity to do it, and how they're going to coordinate with the payroll provider. And get out communication materials to the affected older employees, 50 and older, over 145,000 in comp this year. Perhaps distribute new election forms, because they have to be given an effective opportunity to elect not to defer if they have been in the past. So, boy, they got to get going on it now. And for advisors, they've got to be helping plan sponsors walk through that and understand, the pros and the cons of doing those different things different ways. That's a lot.
It is a lot, and it's going to be complicated, and people are going to have trouble understanding it. And as we said on the podcast, the 145,000, I mean, that's a number that's there. It's in the law in the Secure 2.0 Act of 2022, but it's an odd number. It's not a number that we're like familiar with or used to. And so, again, trying to communicate that and to people who are going to be making, somewhere above that kind of thing, if they're used to doing the pre-tax. So, yeah, it's going to be a complicated communication, not to mention a complicated implementation. But a new PSEA survey indicates that, at least about half of the plan sponsors responding expect to have it all figured out by January 1st. So fingers crossed. But also just another thing. Yes, sir.
One more thing on that. The other category is those who don't have Roth in their plan already. They've got to make a decision about whether to add it or not. They've got an even more difficult journey to December 31, because they've got to decide, if we do add Roth, then we can let those catch-up eligible over 50 participants who make over 145,000, we can allow them to defer catch-up contributions, but they're going to have to be Roth. It's not even their choice, has to be. So then if they do that, they'll say, okay, we'll amend the plan in effect to allow Roth for everybody. Or they can say, no, we're not going to have Roth in our plan because it's a pain. We do more education, more forms, more work. But then that means you're over 145,000 catch-up eligible participants can't make catch-up contributions, absolutely cannot make catch-up contributions in 2026. So
Yep.
it's tough. And you're going to want, as a plan sponsor, you're going to want to get advice on how to do it and what the considerations are. It's a lot of work for that group particularly.
Yeah, well, and not to mention that the final regulations did in fact clarify that you cannot simply flip the switch and make everybody do their catch-up contributions on a Roth basis. So that would have been a nice option, I think, for people to have. But it certainly would be administratively less complex. I'm not sure about on the communication side. It might have been more complicated, but it's not an option anyway. So it's a moot point. Anyway, let us know if you like this forum or not. We could still do both, but definitely check this out and check out the Nevin and Fred podcast link as well for a more extended discussion on the topic. Thanks as always for checking out. Fred, good to see you, literally see you again.
Good to see you, Nevin.
Y'all take care. All right, man.